welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about the top 10 scary shadow urban legends. Humans are naturally and understandably wary as to what lurks out of sight in the shadows, and I get that. It stems back to basic human instinct, plus I guess it doesn't help that there are so many movies and urban legends out there focusing on creepy shadows. So I might be bringing you some scary shadow urban legends, but at least I dressed, I guess, like the literal opposite of a shadow. Color! Let me know what you're afraid of in the comments section down below. Is it your shadow? I want to know. Also, while you're down there, why don't you hit that thumbs up button and share this video with a friend. Also, while you're down there, if you want to connect with me on Instagram, my link to my social media is in the description box. Also, once again, before we get started, I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to our channel sponsors. You the best. Alright, let's start things off with the biggest and best known shadow urban legend at number 10. We have the legend of the Shadow People. Light and dark have long been associated with goodness and evil throughout history and across cultures. Shadow people are supposed to be the embodiment of evil from the dark side, the other side. Humans have perceived shadow people throughout history, but more recently we have given them the name of shadow people. In folklore, these are interdimensional beings that have the ability to shapeshift and travel into our dimension. Shadow people are usually tall and sometimes have glowing red eyes. Generally, shadow people simply stalk or observe with a threatening unspoken intent. A late-night talk show on Coast to Coast AM held a lengthy segment on shadow people in 2001, and one of their hosts interviewed a Native American elder called Harley Swift Deer Reagan. Throughout the show, listeners were encouraged to send in their drawings and experiences of shadow people, and the response was overwhelming. There are a lot of psychological explanations for seeing shadow people, including sleep deprivation or sleep leading to the phenomena of pareidolia. This is where the mind responds to a stimulus by making you see things that aren't there, like figures or faces. Is the presence of shadow people simple science, or is there something deeper and darker going on? Can the rest of the numbers on this list be attributed to shadow people, or are they something else entirely? Coming in at number 9, we have black mass ghosts. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, there have been countless reports of people seeing ghostly apparitions over history. Usually ghosts are described as being white, grey or see-through, but some have reported seeing dark ghosts like shadows. These are often referred to as black mass ghosts. Paranormal investigators tend to agree that these apparitions are different to regular ghosts. Some people think that these ghostly apparitions are ectoplasms or ectomists. They're kind of like emotional stains left on the world from people who have died in high emotional circumstances like historic battles. Some go as far as to say that these black mass spirits are negative imprints left on the world from angry spirits. If you see a black mist or a shadow, you should steer clear. Coming in at number 8, we have the shadows of Zombie Road in Missouri. The road running through Wildwood in Missouri used to be called Lawler Ford Road, but it has been known as the Zombie Road since the 1950s. It's even been abandoned since the 1970s. Even when the road was in use, people simply didn't like it. Eerily, they said it never felt the same length or looked recognizable. Sometimes it would seem to go on forever and get narrower. Since its decommission, the road has been at the center of many urban legends. Along with the classic Killer in the Wood legend, many people have reported seeing shapes and shadows along the road and in the trees that surround it. Those that hike or bike on the road as part of a woodland trail, a popular spot in the spring through to the fall, report seeing human-shaped shadows along their routes. The trail is closed after dusk, which has led to a lot of locals asking why that is exactly. Coming in at number 7, we have the legend of Dudleytown in Connecticut. Dudleytown in Connecticut is often referred to as the Village of the Damned. The town was founded in Cornwall, Connecticut in the 1700s and has been abandoned since the mid-1800s. Why, you ask? Well, local legend says that the town is cursed and is haunted by sinister black wolf-like shadows. It all seems to stem back to the founders of the town, the Dudleys. The Dudleys were reportedly related to Edmund Dudley, an English nobleman who was beheaded for plotting against King Henry VII in the 1500s. It seems that his act of treason brought a curse upon his family, who saw mysterious misfortune and a spate of deaths and suicides. Reportedly, to try and rid the family of the ill fortune, the Dudleys emigrated to the New World, moving from Guildford, England England to Cornwall, Connecticut in 1748, thus establishing Dudleytown. Legend has it that the bad luck manifested itself in the form of dark shadows, and it followed them over to the United States. The town saw disaster beyond belief, and this led to a number of suicides and disappearances of the remaining Dudleys. The rest of the residents left town, and you know what? I can't blame them. The more recent urban legend that started circulating in the 1980s says that if anyone who visits the ghost town today steals anything from the town, they too will be cursed with the shadows like the Dudleys. Now, local historians have refuted the link between the Dudley family and the English nobleman. However, as the town has been closed to the public for a good number of years, the mystery and legends live on. Coming in at number 6, we have Slenderman. Ah, the legend of Slenderman. It was only a matter of time until he cropped up in this list. Now, most of you watching this video will know who Slenderman is, but for the benefit of those that don't, he's a big old scary shadowy creep. Stories of Slenderman surfaced in 2008 in the form of a creepypasta, but he is drawn from real life folklore, especially from Eastern European tales. Slenderman is said to be very tall with no face. He often wears a suit and a tie. He's mainly seen watching you from the shadows and lurking, waiting to kill you. Good lad. Sometimes he appears as simply a shadow, sometimes he has tentacle arms. He may sound like a bit of a joke, but in 2014, a pair of young girls conspired to stab their 12-year-old friend so that they could win the trust of Slenderman. Coming into number 5, we have shadow puppets. Shadow puppetry as an art dates back to the first millennium BCE in Asia. Now, it's not clear whether it first originated in China or India, as both have long since used the art form as a medium of entertainment. Shadow puppetry then spread into Islamic and European culture. Now, shadow puppet plays have been known to be dark and mysterious, and in some countries, especially India, they have deeply religious connotations. The central theme pretty much of all shadow theatre is a battle between good and evil. It's thought that during the plays, the gods, if they're entertained and appeased, would protect the audience from evil. As the shadow puppets are so deeply rooted in ritual in the spirit world, there's something quite scary and supernatural about them. I just don't trust them. Coming into number 4, we have Hat Man. The Hat Man is possibly a shadow person with a particular love for male millinery. The man appears to be a worldwide phenomena, with many reporting seeing dark apparitions across the world. Now, he is distinctive due to his fedora-shaped hat. Other than his hat, no details are ever distinguishable. He's seen as a pure shadow with no features. People report dreaming of this dark shadow as much as they do seeing him lurking in the shadows. The correct course of action, should you see the Hat Man, according to urban legend anyway, is to control your fear and to forcibly tell the shadow to leave. He isn't welcome. So, don't run and hide then. Coming into number 3, we have the mystery of shadow bands. Here, science meets urban legend, and I love me some science. There is a known phenomenon that occurs during a solar eclipse. So basically, during a solar eclipse, the moon passes between the sun and the earth, momentarily blocking out the sunlight. During the eclipse, when the sun has narrowed to just a little filament of light, shadow bands form. Now, these are strange grey ripples that flit over the ground and buildings, creating a distorted-looking reality. During some eclipses, the bands are vivid, but during others, they're barely visible. In a 1970s eclipse visible from the United States East Coast, the bands look like jail bars in Greenville, North Carolina. They're really difficult to photograph too. Now, there are a number of explanations for the bands, varying from single slit diffraction, but others do think that they have a far spookier and much more mystical explanation. A lot of people even report feeling deep unease when they see them, although this is probably just down to an unnatural lighting state, probably. Coming into number 2, we have the Dark Watches of Santa Lucia. Originally known by Spanish settlers as Los Vigilantes Oscuro, the Dark Watches are a legend in Santa Lucia, California. Described as tall, sometimes giant-sized, featureless dark silhouettes, they're often adorned with brimmed hats and walking sticks. It is possible that the Dark Watchers are a variant of the classic shadow people. Over the years, the Watchers have frequently been spotted in the Santa Lucia Mountains watching passers-by. Now, the figures are mainly spotted around twilight and dawn. No one's ever seen one up close, and it is said that if a person ever does, they will disappear. Back in the 1960s, a high school principal reported seeing a tall man with a hat watching him as he led a group hike. When he called out, the figure disappeared. Now, scientists offer a number of different explanations for the sightings. Some say they could be Brocken specters, which basically happen in certain atmospheric conditions when the sun's over a particular angle. Others say they could be fatigue-based hallucinations. Alright, here we are, the big guns. Number 1. This freaked me out so much, I've put it at premium spot on our list. Coming into number 1, we have the Walking Sam suicides. Between December 2016 and March 2017, a staggering 103 suicide attempts were made on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Of these attempts, 9 people between the ages of 12 and 24 died. The reservation, home of the Sioux Native Americans, was blighted by a cloud of death, as they put it. Oglala Sioux Tribe Vice President Thomas Pawbear said that the parents of the reserve had come to him telling him that there were nooses hanging in the trees. Eventually, it was reported that a tall man spirit was appearing to children and convincing them to kill themselves. The apparition is said to be 7 foot, lean with no mouth, and carrying bodies of Lakota men and women in his arms. Now, this wasn't the first time that Walking Sam had appeared in the area. In 2009, he was alleged to have been spotted in Pine Ridge, which coincided with multiple teenage suicides. In 2013 and 2015, he was said to have shown up again. When local records were examined, it seemed that he may even have first appeared in 1974 near Jefferson, South Dakota. Now that's around 360 miles away from Pine Ridge. Okay guys, I am sufficiently spooked out. Good job I'm wearing my brightest clothes today so I can't be scared of my own shadow. Although to be honest, I've always been a bit scared of my own shadow since watching Peter Pan as a kid. Like, ugh. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Don't forget to let me know what scares you most in the comments section down below. For now, I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. If you want to show me that you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing lists. Bye!